What's up? What's up? Good morning. Weekend is officially here, yo. It's Saturday, baby. Saturday, the 11th of June. What's up, everybody? Good day to you. Good day. Hope everybody's weekend is going well. Hope everybody had a good night last night. Having a good day today. Bit of a different. Well, we're pivoting a little bit this morning. Yeah, pivoting a little bit. Into trying a new game, Roller Champions. And just to see what it's like, what it offers us. As far as a potential just chill game to play around and have some fun with in the community. So, again, as always, we'll hop into the news segment here in a moment. We've got some showcases today. What showcases are we exactly talking about here? Let's take a look. We saw Tribeca. We got Wholesome Direct, Future Game Show, Gorilla Collective. We got a few different ones. We'll take a look at what the times are, see how this is going to work out for us. And we'll sprinkle in a little bit of this Roller Champions. One moment, sorry. In between all the showcases, okay? I got logged out of something. Give me a second, guys. Got to get back in there. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Cool. Let's go. Let's hop into this. Again, here's our schedule right now. Tribeca was yesterday. Wholesome Direct. See what time this starts. It's so weird that this list does not have times for everything. Well, let's see. See if we can look it up real quick before we get into gaming news. That way we know what our schedule is going to be like. Bruh. Okay. Okay, so we got 5 hours till Wholesome Direct. So we're talking noon. Starts at a little bit before noon. 11:30. I wonder if it's on Twitch. We'll find out later. We'll find out. There's Wholesome Direct. That's cool. Then we've got Future Game Show, which will happen at 2 o'clock. And then Gorilla Collective. Oh, this Gorilla Collective is at 10 this morning. So we'll watch Gorilla Collective first. Okay, let's find Gorilla Collective real quick, because that's going to be the one we watch first. Wait, what? Why did that happen? Yeah, so 8 Pacific this morning, which will be 10 o'clock for us, which means we've got roughly 3.5 hours till this one starts. So go ahead and pull that up. Pause that out. give them a follow. Cool. So Guerrilla Collective, Wholesome Games. Then we will be at June 11th Future Game Show. So let's go ahead and just get these tabs put out so we know what we're dealing with. Then we'll get into gaming news. This will be Games Radar. All of that. So there we go. Gorilla, Wholesome, and Future Game Show. Cool. So that's kind of our plan for today. So we'll do news. We'll try out Roller Champions. Then we're going to have basically showcases up through most of the rest of the day. Any kind of breaks we get, we'll sprinkle in a little bit more Roller Champions and try it out. I've got the game ready to rock. I started it up yesterday. It went right into character creation, and I closed the game. That way we'll do character creation together, okay? Cool. So, we've got that. Let's go ahead and get us a new tab here. And we'll go with gaming news. So, doing what we do, let's go ahead and hop into the news section, see what we can find, see what we can talk about, and then we will get into our gaming / showcases for the rest of the day. All right, guys? IGN Expo is over and everything announced. We'll take a look. We've seen most of it, but we'll take a look. Hellblade 2. I need to know a release date for Hellblade 2 because we have Hellblade 1. We've never played it. And we're going to do what we try to do a lot of times with these games that we're anticipating is we'll play the first one. If we've never played it before, we'll play the first one right up, hopefully, to the date that the next one releases so we can get a good taste of what the first one gave us. And then we'll roll right into the second one, okay? Windows Central, the Xbox and Bethesda showcase, we'll see. It looks like they're giving us a little bit of info about some of the stuff we are going to see. They're not going to tell us announcement games though. They're gonna have people tune in to try to get a hold of some of that stuff. Like if there's potentially anything like updated for Avowed and things like that. I don't think they're going to let us know until tomorrow when we actually sit down to watch. Hellblade 2, we'll take a look at that. We hit this yesterday. There's a pretty good Humble Bundle. That's what it was, right? Humble Bundle for Capcom games. Let me see. Yeah, Humble Bundle. Pretty good bundle there for Capcom games. So here, I'll throw it in chat again. Throw it in here. Take a look. Take a look if you're interested. It's like Street Fighter V, some Devil May Cry, Monster Hunter stuff. For $20, full package of 11 titles. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. Take a look. We hit on it yesterday in depth, so if you're interested, go look at yesterday's news segment. Find where we took a look at this, okay? On the YouTube page. We've talked about this a lot here recently with basically all these reports are coming out that Battlefield 2042 is basically dead. And that EA is just running a skeleton crew to try to pump out the content they promised to everybody upon the game's release. And EA is trying to refute those claims and say, no, everybody, I'm not going to believe EA. But we've hit on that. Let's all exploit the exploitative games. Let's see what that's about. What? What gaming on Centaur's forgotten x86 CPU? Let's see what that's about. That looks a bit wild. Sony's new God of War game, which would be Ragnarok, planned for November. Okay, there we go. That means that we would be hitting that game right after Scaretober then. Yeah? We'd be doing Scaretober and then jumping into God of War. Do a bit of a what I had planned on doing was taking a bit of time to jump back into the original God of War because we still have some things we can finish up in there as far as mainly like trying to kill some of the Valkyries. But it would get us back in the mode of God of War for Ragnarok. So we'll see. We'll see what the actual date is here, and we'll get that on the schedule. Oh, I already had it up. I'm dumb. There we go. I have never been a fan of Microsoft's browsers. Um, we'll see what this clarity booster thing is for. It looks like Microsoft is incorporating some kind of technology or mechanic. Do random mode time already. Check that out. For their browser to make it work better with Xbox's cloud gaming. So we'll see what that's about. Random mode time. Oh, dude, we've been getting a lot of those emotes here lately. Um, PC Gaming Show is set to run following the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. That is tomorrow. So we will be hitting those up tomorrow, okay? Apple Cloud Gaming ban ruled anti-competitive in UK. I wonder what that's about. Let's see what that's about real quick. Biggest gaming news. Biggest gaming news. Video games are getting too expensive and it's killing gaming. I agree. We talk about this quite often. I'm really interested to see what they say in the article compared to the way we've addressed this situation quite often. Um, you know, I always kind of, whenever we address this issue, I put the disclaimer in there that, you know, obviously the video game industry is a business, right? They need to make money, but they are making a lot of money. And the thing that feels bad is I'm always going to advocate for as many people to have access to the world that I'm passionate about and the world that I love, which is video games. And the more you see these companies continue to raise the bar on what it costs to not only get into buying a game upon release, which they are trending towards $70 a pop now. But some of the stuff that we've talked about here recently as well comes into play where you're talking about like DLC and stuff where a game will release at $70 and then like 3 weeks to a month later they've got a bunch of DLC that comes out that will cost you another 40 to 50. You know, and it's like you can't tell me that content wasn't ready for the game on release. So you just pulled 70 bucks out of somebody for purchasing the game on release and then you know, you're trying to get another 50 out of them for the DLC that was obviously already ready for the game on release. You just didn't want to, you know, you're trying to you're leeching as much money as you can off people. And at the same time, there are a lot of people that just can't afford to pay those prices even for 70 bucks a pop for initial games, you know, and It just feels bad. It feels bad, and it's actually led to a bigger problem with uh, piracy as far as the video game industry is concerned. Devolver Digital is bringing 3 titles to Netflix games. Okay, a little bit of a collab there, huh? Let's take a look, see what that is. I love Devolver, man. I love Devolver, and I saw some really cool games I'm excited about out of their showcase. Lucky Luna is a new original Netflix games platform. This is one of the only things that we haven't really hit on very much yet. Currently, as far as showcases goes, we haven't taken a good look at what Netflix has been pumping out. I knew we would get a taste of it, but they're doing showcases like every single day. It seems like for roughly 5 to 7 days, something like that. So I just figured we'd get a nice comprehensive summary of everything that they've kind of announced towards the end of all the showcases they're doing. But let's take a look at this. Lucky Luna. CT Interactive to showcase best sellers at Peru Gaming. Is this actual video games or is this? Yeah, this is like casino type games. We're not going to dive into that. Wonder Woman release date. All right, let's take a look. We're already taking a look at some of the Netflix stuff, so I'm not going to dive into that one too. Um, I'm going to pull up this article and we'll see if it's worth actually reading into. Jacksonville mom didn't know son's Xbox could connect to ellipses something media after he threatened daycare shooting. Um, there are two important topics to talk about right here that we talk about quite often in the channel, but they're both presented in this article. It seems, anyways, which is going to be um, the addressing of guardians of younger individuals really have to take control and have good oversight about what their you know their youth are being exposed to and what they have access to, managing that to ensure that they're not able to get into any kind of content that they shouldn't be exposed to. And obviously, every guardian, every parent is going to have a different idea of what is and isn't appropriate, but ultimately, that's the guardian's responsibility, right? Um, at the same time, there's been so much uh, scapegoating here lately, and different people and news sites and things like that trying to blame video games for violence. So I'm gonna dive into this. We'll see what it gives us. All right, let's pivot real quick. Got that up already? Oh, the Grammy Awards add video game score category. That is great. That is so good. Cool. Let's take a look at that. The Last of Us fans debate PS5 remakes graphics. The side-by-side comparison I saw of like the original game and what is coming with the remake is it looked like the pictures of these two, there's a pretty good enhancement there. But then when it came to some of the side by sides of the other characters, for me, it was like, I don't know if I see a huge difference. But we'll take a look. Yeah, I had it up. All right. Yep. Shh, shh, shh. The decade-long struggle to fund Oakland's scrappy video game museum. Let's take a look at that, man. That's cool. We've got this article up already. We've already talked about China finally issuing out 60 new video game licenses, even though none of them were for Tencent or NetEase. And we've got some theories behind that. But we've talked about this. Go look at the previous news segments on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Cool, we've already got something about that up. We talked about this already. We're looking at this today. Different article we have up. We've talked about this. Yeah, we've talked about that. Xbox is like promoting this as like, we finally get Spider-Man on our console. But it's literally just because he's a character in what is the new game coming out? I can't even remember the title of it right now. Midnight Suns, I think. One second, guys, sorry. Game or Blade Runner game reportedly in the works. Take a look at that. We got a lot of news, man. I knew there was going to be a lot of news this week just because there's so many showcases, so many things being announced. You know that on top of what we regularly get within the news segment, there was going to be a lot of other stuff too. So I would like to take a look at this, ranking the best mini games within video. We'll pull it up. Whatever. Yeah, we've talked about that. We've talked about a lot of this stuff already, guys. Sorry. Unions look to crack into video game industry. They already have, by the way. Yeah, this was 3 weeks ago. Hmm? Yeah. Let me see this real quick. We read something recently. I'm not going to dive into this article. We read something recently about an individual that had duped a lot of game collectors on what were supposedly original, very collectible, old game, you know, items. whether it be manuals or the games themselves or I mean, what have you, right? We're talking stuff from back in like the 5-inch floppy days, all kinds of stuff like that. And they finally, there were a lot of people that came together and were like, something's off here. They noticed little things that kind of shouldn't have been, or I guess telltale signs that the things they were receiving were maybe not original, right? And a lot of people that had bought some things from this individual came together and it kind of basically confirmed their thoughts behind it that they had gotten duped. And this individual had made over like $100,000 on these collectible video game items that he had sold. It's pretty terrible. We saw the Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria yesterday. We watched the trailer for that. We've already read that PlayStation saying half of its releases will be on PC and mobile in the near future. Yep. Dragon Age Absolution revealed by Netflix. Let's take a look at that real quick. That might be on our other Netflix as well, but we'll see. If it is, we just won't read that one. Okay. There's one other thing I'm going to pull up. I haven't gotten to read this. Take a look at that. Shout out to my wife. She saw that article and was like, "Have you seen this?" So we're going to read it. Because I did see it a few days ago. We just have had so much news that I decided not to dive into that one. But we're going to take a look at it. Cool. The decade-long struggle to fund Oakland's scrappy video game museum. The Maid is finally moving into a new building and wants the video game industry to help ensure its prosperous future. Back in September 2021, the Museum of Art and Digital Entertainment in Oakland, California, better known as the Maid, began tweeting about how impossibly difficult it seemed to fund a video game museum. The Maid's tweets lamented a total lack of funding support from both federal grants and video game companies. Many potential donors apparently balked at the museum's lack of adequate physical space, even as that was exactly what it needed funding for. Quote, "We're beginning to feel like we've been stuck in the tutorial for 10 years, it wrote, despite gaining 30 levels of experience. The tweets pointed to the organization's 10 years of working tirelessly to raise funds, all in an attempt to build out a bigger and better space for its mission, preserving our digital heritage in playable form while inspiring the next generation of developers. That's a tough task when you have little to no money." Founded in 2011, the Maid got its start on the back of two successful Kickstarter campaigns. One in 2011 that raised a little over 21,000 US, and another in 2015 that attracted a little over 52,000 US, almost 53,000 US, that allowed it to rent space in the San Francisco Bay Area. Understand this. The Bay Area real estate is enormously expensive, like crazy expensive. Whether you're buying or renting or anything like that, it is incredible. This money, this roughly $75,000 they made on Kickstarter, did not last very long, I guarantee you. Neither location the nonprofit moved into was ideal. The last spot resembled a LAN party session, library, or retro game store more than an actual museum. Despite this, the Maid still held events and taught classes to aspiring game developers in these tiny spaces. soon garnering the attention of two big-name Silicon Valley companies, Dolby and Google. Each has since sponsored the organization and supported its mission with generous annual donations of $10,000. But the yearly checks only last so long. The Made is entirely volunteer-run. That's awesome. And raises the majority of its income through video game tournaments and ticket sales. So money is critical, but it can be difficult to expand when you're only ever breaking even. The ongoing COVID pandemic has upended the Made these last few years, forcing the nonprofit to close its physical space in Oakland and ask its supporters to appeal to groups like the Capper Center and EA for sponsorships. Despite the generous donations from the likes of Dolby and Google, the Made only barely breaks even every year. Yeah, dude. Being out there in the Bay Area, I can only imagine. The seemingly never-ending scramble for funding hasn't stopped the organization from aspiring to greater heights, but it has resulted in a pretty big change in leadership for the struggling nonprofit. Not long after those frustrated tweets, the Made's founder and now former executive director, Alex Handy, handed over the museum's reins to incoming executive director Shim Nguyen. I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. Kotaku spoke to both about running a nonprofit video game museum, fundraising frustrations, and what the future has in store for the Made, namely the new space it's moving into this June. Let's get a summary here. We got a lot of news. This is I'll check it out, dude. Duck Hunt. We'll see some of these pictures. Oh, this is really cool. Oh, dude, look what they did with the controllers to turn it into the name of the museum. Oh, that's really neat. All the retro consoles, all the old TVs and stuff, dude. Oh man, this is probably a great article. We just don't really have time to cover the entire thing this morning with all the showcases and um, all these other news segments we have up too. So I will put it in chat. So June 10th, so yesterday they had a grand reopening party. Yesterday, cool. Look at all their old like their retro stuff, man. This is great. Cool. Okay, let's read the summary. Former executive director Handy echoed the sentiment, saying he'll support again however he can, including going out and getting money. But whether the dollars are there for the museum to expand with nice furniture and quality installations or not, Handy said the Maid's game preservation work won't end that easily. I don't want to sound like we're angry or bitter, Handy said. It's just that the system isn't really set up to deal with something like us, has never seen anything like us. We're never going to close. We're never going to stop. We're always going to be here no matter what happens. Good, man. It's good for them to persevere. The you know, video gaming, even though it hasn't been around quite as long as other forms of entertainment, is heavily influenced culture, especially in entertainment and stuff. So there absolutely should be museums dedicated to video games. You can give money directly to the Made via its donation portal, or if you work at a tech company through Benevity. You can also volunteer at the Made or ask about sponsorship opportunities, becoming a partner, and corporate memberships. Yeah, everybody that works there is volunteered. Nobody is paid. They always need donations and stuff. So look, this is really a great thing, and it's I can only imagine incredibly difficult for people that are passionate about gaming, right? Like so many of us are in this community, and myself included. To want to preserve what gaming has given us over, you know, the past 40 years, right? Is an incredible thing, and we should be raising these kinds of institutions up, especially nonprofit. They're doing all this because they just love what video games have done for us in the community. So take a look. I would love to read the whole thing, and I might later, but right now I just don't really have time for trying to keep the news segment at a decent length because we have showcases and everything too. Blade Runner game reportedly in the works. A new Blade Runner video game is reportedly in the works, but it likely won't release for quite a while. The Blade Runner series helped cement the cyberpunk genre in cinema and expand sci-fi to new heights when Ridley Scott's original film released in the 80s. Although it wasn't a huge hit at the time, it went on to become a massively revered film that has inspired countless directors, video games, and more. Its legacy carried on in 2017 when Blade Runner of 2049 released as a legacy sequel that continued the story and expanded the world in new ways. The film didn't perform well at the box office, but it was showered in praise by critics and even got some love at the Oscars. Yeah, it was decent. It was decent. Despite its massive impact on pop culture, there haven't been many significant attempts at a video game. There was a Blade Runner game in the 90s that is beloved by fans, but that's really the only notable attempt to bring the franchise to gaming. According to Tom Henderson via Tryhard Guides, developer 110 Industries is reportedly working on a new Blade Runner game with the expectation to release it by 2025. The report also notes that the game already has a brief cinematic teaser trailer and will likely be released to the public very soon. It's unclear if this will happen this weekend at the Xbox Summer Showcase or be something that happens later this year. Regardless, this should be exciting news for fans. 110 Industries is a relatively new studio and are working on titles like Wanted Dead and Vengeance is Mine, but their games don't lack any kind of production value and look like really original games. Whether or not they will be able to successfully capture what people love about Blade Runner remains to be seen, but they seem capable. Amazon is also working on a Blade Runner TV series with Ridley Scott that will seemingly continue the story from the films, but details are scarce on the project. Cool. Nice. We'll see. Obviously very early in the development of both those things, I think. So we'll, I'm sure, hear more about it as we get closer to any kind of them releasing more info about those titles or release dates, anything like that. We're going to skim this real quick. Ranking the best mini games within video games. Where's Gwent at? It's going to be up at the top. There's going to be some fishing ones in here too. Without further ado, I'll give you the best video game mini games. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Yeah, Tim Wynn, what's up, buddy? I knew it'd be up there, dude. We're gonna get a good taste of Gwent here very soon. Now, so basically, the schedule right now for the community is we've got one more week of Valheim, and we just killed what is currently in the game known as the fourth boss. We killed yesterday. So next week, at the end of the week, we will be trying to take down the fifth boss, which is currently the last boss in the game. But there's more content coming. Tinwin, how are you, buddy? But after next week, basically starting either the 18th or the 19th, which would be either Saturday or Sunday, we are going to start up Planescape Torment. We're going to play through that game that week. And then we will be starting Witcher 3 playthrough on the 27th of June. All right, so get ready. We're going to be totally addicted to Gwent. I already know it, but I knew it was going to be at the top of the list, man. It's not often you come across a card game in the gaming world that is so fantastic that it inspires a complete spin-off, but Gwent did precisely that. It's not surprising given how fun it is to play. We have lost track of how many hours we have spent in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt going up against opponents worldwide. There are many different cards and deck builds to try out with various factions chosen from the universe of Witchers. Gwent provides a fun strategic challenge between your adventures with Geralt, with powerful hero cards, each with their unique spells and abilities. Oh, you're playing the Humankind DLC? Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, awesome. Cool. How you feel about it so far? Then there's Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Fishing. I called it, dude. So fishing appears in numerous games across the board, right? But Ocarina of Time is the pinnacle of angling. Of course, your goal is to capture the biggest fish possible, which will earn you a piece of a heart. If you keep coming back, you can catch a fish so large that the person who runs the business considers it unlawful. And if you are feeling very spiteful, you can steal his hat and throw it in the pond. Good? Oh, cool, man. Good. Yeah. Awesome. Good. I'm glad you're liking it, man. That's great. Thanks for letting us know. Awesome, man. I figured you'd be diving in pretty quick. RDR2, navigating the rugged terrain of the Old West, looking for bounties on horseback is an integral part of this sequel to the hugely popular RDR original. But the best action can be found in the town's saloons. Popping in these drinking holes allows players to access dominoes, blackjack, and even poker. You sit around an old wooden table in these smoky saloons, pitting your wits against bounty hunters and fur trappers at these card games. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. A Thief's End begins with Nathan Drake sitting down at a dusty old TV and playing the whole level of Crash Bandicoot. Uh, okay, Bioshock. Um, we love us some Bioshock. Um, they've got all kinds of different puzzles and stuff in the game, and that's what they're talking about. There's like a lot of, like, anytime you hack stuff or whatever, they've got a lot of different like puzzles in the game, which were actually really fun and a great incorporation to that game or that series. GTA 5. Uh, they've got golf, pretty detailed golf. Huh. I didn't know that. I haven't really played much of GTA 5, but that's pretty wild. Yeah, yeah. I mean, notorious. Like, I mean, I'll even tell you that, as a big fan of Final Fantasy, and such a Final Fantasy 7 is my favorite game. I was really really psyched for Final Fantasy 8, but the game didn't really grab me. I never finished it. I just couldn't. I couldn't stay immersed in the game. It didn't appeal to me very much. But what was great about Final Fantasy 8 was there was a mini card game in that game that was amazing, and I loved it. And that was about the only thing that kept me playing the game as long as I did. There's definitely something to be said for a good incorporation of a mini game within titles for sure. Dragon Age Absolution revealed by Netflix. Netflix has revealed its latest video game adaptation, Dragon Age Absolution. Teaming up with BioWare and EA, Netflix is making a 6-episode animated series dubbed Dragon Age Absolution, which will debut this December only on Netflix. As you would expect, a debut trailer accompanied this announcement, giving fans of the RPG series a proper taste of what to expect. Unfortunately, right now, there's no word of when exactly in December this will release. Cattle slaughterhouse producing salted beef. The products of Saladero are sought all over the world. Creates a new deposit of salted beef. The resource of salted beef. Yeah, that's funny, dude. Yo, I'll take some. That's funny, dude. According to an official blurb from Netflix, the show is set in Tevinter, the setting for the upcoming Dragon Age game, Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Yep, that was just announced, the name for the new game. That said, it will feature an ensemble of new characters, suggesting it has minimal to do with the game, if anything at all. BioWare is well known for connecting its games with other types of media, usually books or comics. In other words, it's possible this will connect to the game, but if it is, it hasn't been confirmed. Okay. Dragon Age Absolution is set in Tevinter and features an ensemble, yep, of new characters inspired by Dragon Age lore, including elves, mages, knights, Kunari, Red Templars, demons, and other special surprises. Dad, dude, I didn't even read it like that. That's hilarious. We're gonna get a lot of dad jokes. Yeah, I didn't. Good call, dude. I didn't even read it like that. Nice. Uh huh. As for the show itself, it's being produced by Red Dog Culture House with uh, Margaret Scott on board as showrunner. Scott's previous work largely includes writing credits on projects like Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Assemble, Avengers Assemble, and Transformers Prime. Okay, Cool. We'll see. Uh, the thing is, I mean, as with any other adaptation, right? It just and just two of the Netflix animated series that come to mind right now in trying to address this is um, Castlevania, which I loved. Castlevania was very very good, and then there was like Dragon's Dogma, which I just wasn't as impressed with. Right, so whether it be animation or real life, acting stuff, um, there's always going to be the potential for something really good and something that's just kind of meh. And everybody has their own preferences. But hopefully, Dragon Age will be good, and we'll keep track and see when it comes out. I'm sure I'll probably watch it, and I'm sure I'll probably watch it. That's I just negated exactly. I'll watch it when it comes out, and I'll let everybody know what I think about it. The music most embedded in our psyches. This is Ori right here. The scores for video games like Street Fighter or Halo might not be uppermost in the minds of those playing them, but they can manipulate our emotions in surprising ways. When we're playing a video game, we're also dancing to its tune, catchy or haunting melodies, audio clues that spur us to quicken our pace, triumphant notes to confirm our success. When we hear this music outside gameplay, it can prove unusually moving. First time I caught the London Video Game Orchestra in concert, I found myself hollering for my favorite characters during a Street Fighter II medley. I also joined a surreal sing-along as LVGO conductor James Kirill swept the audience into a classical console startup theme. Sega. Felt like a 5-second hymn, nostalgic and weirdly rapturous. Yeah, I mean, everybody that has a little bit of age behind them knows the Sega, right? Like, there's just so many iconic things about video games and the music that goes along with them. Absolutely. Street Fighter 2 is honestly one of the most enjoyable arrangements I've done. Enthuses classically trained musician, composer, and lifelong gamer Choi. The individual themes are pretty short but intensely memorable and irrevocably intertwined with their characters and the stages on which they fight. When themes get so deeply embedded in our psyche like this, it is impossible not to be moved when hearing them again. And everybody has their own stuff, right? Like I constantly hear. What was it that I was listening to here recently where I was like, the background music for this song is Zelda dungeon music. I could hear it. I could hear the original, the music that starts up in the Nintendo version of Legend of Zelda whenever you enter a dungeon. I could hear it in the background which was like the bass for another song in a game that I was playing. I can't remember what it was right now off the top of my head, but there are just so many of those iconic pieces of music that tie in, just like they're talking about with Street Fighter, and it's different for each individual person as far as like what games are really a part of who you are and what turns you into a gamer and things like that, even all the way through current times. Absolutely. Choi added that while there are many parallels between video game and movie soundtracks, iconic, yeah, such as title sequences, recurring character motifs, and narrative cutscenes, gaming's nonlinear participatory nature means that music strikes a potent chord in us. The power of video games lies in the fact that you actually become the protagonist of the story. Although the story itself may have been predefined, you control how and when it unfolds. It's precisely this power that you've been given to interact directly with the experience that makes video games stand apart and continues to excite me as an artist. Halo theme, yeah. I mean, there's so many, like, for me, Final Fantasy VII being one of my favorite, being my favorite game of all time. It's, I can hear music. Yo, gamer, what's up, buddy? I can hear the music from different areas of that game in my head right now, just thinking about it. It's really wild how that works. How it actually becomes part of us and who we are as just people in general, but also as gamers, right? Yeah. The Halo theme. Yeah, man. Again, it's different for everybody, and we all have those titles where it's like, you can just hear it. You can just hear it. Anytime you talk about that game, picture it mentally, it's boom, that music's right there, right? Gamer, how are you this morning, buddy? Um, Video game music really does play on our emotions. Its impact and increasing sophistication has inspired a growing number of academic studies. In their 2006 essay, The Role of Music in Video Games, Sean Zender and Scott Lipscomb noted the multifunctionality of gaming soundtracks. They enhance a sense of immersion, cue narrative or plot changes, act as an emotional signifier, enhance the sense of aesthetic continuity, and cultivate the thematic unity of a video game. Yeah, this is a pretty long one. I'm going to summarize this real quick and I'll throw it in chat. Again, we got a lot of news to get through. We got a lot of showcases today. So this is a really cool article. I would love to read the whole thing, but it would just take a bit too long. Um, Yeah, they've been doing more of this kind. I mean, there's definitely been more of an appreciation, not just for the music, right, but for all encompassing what goes into making a video game, right? There's so many pieces of art that come together in a really great video game, whether it be the writing or the music or the acting. I could go on and on and on about the culmination of different forms of art that take place to create these magical, really immersive kinds of environments that we throw ourselves into every single day as gamers. And what's been really nice to see is that games are nowadays being appreciated for what that art is, right? In all its different forms. You're seeing competitions for screenshots that gamers can take, which not only is a really cool way for us as gamers ourselves to show off some of the amazing things that we get to experience in a game, but it shows off what an amazing talent these developers have in creating these environments, right, visually, as well as concerts being done with all kinds of, like we're talking about in here, right, concerts being done for video game music from way back all the way to current. There's been a and we've got an article up right now about the Grammy Awards, including, gaming score category. We'll read that next because it goes right along with this, right? The fact that the world is starting to really appreciate games for the art that comes together into creating these amazing universes is awesome, right? And appreciating the hard work and talent that goes along with they're teaching video game. We just read here recently in our news segment that at San Francisco State University, they are teaching dedicated classes for game music composition, right? I mean, it's just a really cool thing to see, the industry that we love so much being appreciated for the amazing pieces of art that are all-encompassing part of the games we love, So I'll throw this in here. You guys, it's probably a really good read all the way through. I just don't really have time to get to it right now, so I do apologize. Uh, Considering you're not at work, doing great. Yo, dude, that's awesome. I appreciate you being here, buddy. Um, the Grammy Awards add video game score category. Um, the Grammy Awards has added 5 new categories, including one to celebrate video game music. That's awesome. As reported by Eurogamer, the best score soundtrack for video games and other interactive media award lacks a catchy name but aims to recognize excellence in music made specifically made for video games. I think this should be taken out. Made specifically for video games. Viable candidates include score track albums comprised predominantly of original scores and created specifically for or as a companion to a current video game or other interactive media released within the qualified period. Handful of other categories were also added to the Grammy Awards. Comes during a wider wave of mainstream acknowledgement of video game music. The BBC Proms, for example, the proms just happened, right? An annual series of classical music concerts will include a video game for the first time when it takes place this August. Yep. Orchestral composer Alex Mukala has been sharing a ton of video game covers lately, including 15 different styles of the Elden Ring soundtrack and a 30-person Wii Jam session that took the internet by storm. That's cool. IGN also has its own Video Game Music of the Year award, and last year we gave it to the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. When we talk about video game music, we're usually referring to an original score or maybe a selection of licensed tracks. We said Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy triumphs in both of those departments, but it goes a step further. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, again, so much amazing art just goes into games, and it's great to see the world recognizing that fact nowadays. It's so good. Wonder Woman release date, latest news and leaks, everything you need to know. Okay, we'll keep it right there. The developers behind Middle-earth: Shadow of War are coming back with another game, except this time we're playing as Diana of dude, I don't know how to say that. Themyscira, or as you might know her, Wonder Woman. Monolith Productions announced Wonder Woman during the 2021 Game Awards, so yep, there was an immediate excitement in the air. Monolith is the team behind Middle-earth, Shadow of War, and Shadow of Mordor, both considered incredible games from the last generation of consoles. They were pretty wild games. Warner Brother Games will publish the upcoming Wonder Woman game, with the publisher stating that Wonder Woman is a single-player, open-world action game with an original story for Diana. Unfortunately, the details on this upcoming game are minimal. As we mentioned, Monolith Productions announced this game less than 1 year ago. Moreover, Warner Brothers are more focused on upcoming titles like Hogwarts Legacy or Gotham Knights. Yeah, Warner Brothers is busy. I'll address that in a moment. Um, is Wonder Woman coming out in 2023? If you haven't been able to tell, Wonder Woman isn't coming out anytime soon. We shouldn't expect this game to arrive until 2024 or later, as Monolith Productions hasn't shown any gameplay footage of Diana. Regardless of when Wonder Woman is released, it will arrive for next generation consoles like the Xbox Series XS and PS5. Other than that, we cannot say much about this upcoming release. Everything remains in secret for now. Everything you know. Diana will fight to unite the Amazonian warriors and humans of the modern world. We are guessing that Wonder Woman is working to join these groups for a greater cause, with that cause being an enemy, of course, right? The trailer states, "My daughter, a new threat has come to our shores." This tells us that throughout her lifetime, Diana has already left the Amazonians to attend her own life. Now she must return home to fight against an unknown enemy, and Wonder Woman's mother wouldn't call unless the enemy were overwhelmingly powerful. Is Wonder Woman getting released on Xbox and PC? Uh, can start confirming some things, as Wonder Woman is launching to next-gen consoles. No confirmation that Monolith Productions is developing a PC version of Wonder Woman at this time. Okay, there you go. If you're interested, take that. Wick, what's up, dude? Yo, I I've neglected a bit of things here lately on my side of like video creation, getting VODs to YouTube, making highlights, stuff like that, right? And I got back into it last night. It just, with the anniversary stream and then getting sick afterwards, it really kind of threw me off for a bit. But dude, I've got a pretty nice highlight, specifically in regards to some interaction between yourself and you and myself, and I'll share it with you as soon as I get a chance. I got the highlight cut out last night, but I don't have a link for it or anything yet, so I could probably pull it up a little bit later, just as a highlight here on the channel. I don't have it up on YouTube yet, but what's up, dude? How you doing? Hey, I was actually like hee-hawing at my computer last night, reading it or watching it. um, Gamer. On a side note, I think gamers as a whole are to some degree quite forgiving. What I mean by that is with CDPR, the whole Cyberpunk fiasco. Many people still check it out, play it, and I'm pretty sure Witcher 4 will see millions of copies. Um, well, I think it depends. Um, I think, in specifically talking about Cyberpunk and CDPR coming, moving on to developing Witcher 4. Witcher has been a loved series for a very long time, right? And the hope behind CDPR developing the new iteration of Witcher is that it will be very good because the other games have been a lot of fun. Um, this is where I'll say, like, Cyberpunk as a whole felt very bad on release, right? And we've seen this happen numerous times, not just with CDPR, but with other developers as well, right? Especially on a game that gets super, super hyped up, whether it be Anthem or, No Man's Sky or Cyberpunk. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about these titles that have been incredibly, incredibly, incredibly hyped up and have not even come close to delivering on release, right? Whether it be lack of content or just being a hot, buggy mess, what have you. I would say that gamers as a whole tend to be more forgiving if the developer admits that they made a mistake. They continue to follow through and produce, work on the game and bring it to fruition for what that game promised in the first place, as opposed to, I think there's always still a little bit of, I don't want to call it hate, but disdain, okay, for developers when they pull those kinds of antics on us because we feel duped. You know what I mean? People in general, us as gamers, we feel duped when that happens. And whenever it does happen, it basically just makes us feel like that developer did not care about providing us with a quality product. All they cared about was money, right? And look, I mean, developer is an all-encompassing thing. I'm sure there are a lot of people within these companies that knew the games weren't ready and went, we shouldn't be releasing this. And management said, we don't care. We're pushing it out anyways. Look, that's always going to be a thing. But at the end of the day, a developer is a developer. It's a company. It's an organization. It's a group. And they did what they did, right? So it's important to keep in mind that there are obviously going to be people within that organization that they're just doing their job, and they probably disagreed very much with the product that was initially rolled out. Again, I think there's something to be said for us being more forgiving to a developer whenever they continue to work on something and bring it to fruition for what it was supposed to be in the first place. Even though we remain to be a little bit sus about those developers moving forward, right? Like, I'm a little bit skeptical about CDPR and Witcher 4 because of what Cyberpunk released like. Anytime a developer releases their most recent title, if it was a bit of a sketch kind of situation, I'm going to be a bit sketched out moving forward with products given out by that developer. And especially if that developer has shown a trend of some bad stuff, I mean, I'm very, suspect of like Bethesda, but again, I think we're much more capable of being forgiving. Like, you take a look at, man, why can't I think of the name of the developer behind No Man's Sky right now? If anybody in chat can help me out, I'd appreciate it. That game did not come close, not even remotely close, to delivering on what it had been hyped up to be, right? But kudos to that developer. It should have never been released like that. Don't get me wrong. It should have never been released like that. But they actually continued to work their butts off on that title and actually brought out a bunch of DLC content updates and stuff like that for the game that I think for the most part didn't even actually cost anybody anything because the developer felt like they owed to the community of gamers, especially the people that were, that game, hyped up about that game in specifically, they owed that content to the community, right? Hello Games. Yo, Asif, what's up, buddy? How you been? Yeah, thanks, both of you guys. Yeah, thank you. Wick and Asif. Yeah, thanks, guys. So, I think there's something to be said for us being more forgiving to a developer whenever they do release something that's kind of trash or doesn't follow through with what is promised to be delivered, right? We're more forgiving if they show us that they are committed to continuing to work on that title as well as doing better in the future, right? But it's those developers that make us feel scammed in the first place with a title and then continue to give us bad products moving forward. That's where we kind of are just like done, right? So there are some variables that go into it that I feel like, most of us as gamers, even if we haven't ever like done any kind of game creation or anything, we understand that it's a lot of work and we understand that it's not necessarily an easy thing. But at the end of the day, we expect quality. We expect to be, provided what we were told was going to be part of the games, Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely, Asif. Yeah, Asif. So that was one of the things that because we just did our 1 year anniversary stream, right? And that's why I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do a 24-hour stream because I had thought about doing something like that, but I also didn't want to turn it into something where it felt like I didn't want the anniversary stream to feel like something that I was trying to just like get as many subs as I could out of people and everything, I wanted it to be more of a celebration about just what the channel is, the people that are part of this community, and just how much I appreciate everybody. So that's why I did what I did. But, man, I've seen that happen. Where people are like, I'm going to do a streamathon, and every sub adds this much time, it can be a good thing for their channel, but it can absolutely be terrible for them health-wise. And I think sometimes people just look at that initially and go, oh, this is going to be really cool, and I'm going to do a subathon and a streamathon, and every sub adds time. They don't actually take a hard look at what that could turn into in the long run, which is like you're saying, 200 plus hours of streaming, and I don't know. For me, like doing a streamathon, I've never understood, to each their own, dude. I've never understood sleeping streams, okay? That's weird to me. To each their own. Just me personally, I don't really care to have people watch me sleep. Not that I have anything significant like to hide or be worried about. It's just a little creepy to me. Like, I don't want to watch other people sleep either. Unless it's my wife. Shh. I just watch her sleep all the time. No, I'm kidding. I don't really. But, for me, like, if you're actually going to do, like, a streamathon, I feel like you should actually be live the whole time. That's just my own personal view on it. Do you, Wick? Yeah, same here, Asif. And some people are okay with it, right? But for me, it would just be a little bit odd. It would make me feel uncomfortable, a little bit weird. So, me personally, I mean, I feel like if somebody, if a broadcaster, if a content creator says, I'm doing a streamathon, that means that they should be live and part of that stream the entire time. But I know that's not the way a lot of other content creators feel about it. I mean, they're like, I'm doing a streamathon. And it'll be just, they consider it OBS never going down or whatever, or their stream never turning off, right? So it's like, they'll stream for 8 or 10 hours. Then they'll just like leave their camera on and go sleep or whatever. And it's like, they'll put something on for people to watch. And I'm like, man, that's kind of weird and takes away from what I feel a a streamathon is supposed to be, which is you as the content creator and the broadcaster actually being there for that entire amount of time, you know. It brings up a good point just about the way I feel about it. So, I don't know. To each their own, I guess. To each their own. But yeah, I mean, gamer. That was basically all I really had to elaborate on my thoughts and feelings regarding, you know, the point that you brought up, buddy. Jacksonville mom didn't know son's Xbox could connect to social media after he threatened daycare shooting, police say. Again, whenever I found this article this morning, I think there are two important things to bring up here, which we talk about quite often in this channel, right, and in this community. Dude, we only played about 4 days of Loop Hero. And I mean, actually what's funny is I was doing some highlighting and pulling out the VODs of the Loop Hero gameplay so I could upload them to my YouTube page last night, and I was actually thinking about it, and I love that game. That game was a lot of fun, and I feel like we could spend an extensive amount of time in Loop Hero, and that's one of the games I kind of have like put on the shelf for us to be able to go back to and get some good game time in. I can't remember exactly everything that we unlocked. We got like watchtowers, we got stuff like that, but we still had quite a bit of stuff to unlock. And I got some really good clips made last night from some of the Loop Hero gameplay. Some of it was gameplay, some of it was us talking and laughing in just chat and stuff. But that's where I think one of Wick's came from. It was pretty funny. So it really, you know, last night I was working on stream stuff like basically all night after the stream, and it really made me, I got the feels for Loop Hero a little bit, you know. It made me feel like I need to get back to it at some point soon. But I mean, we've got a schedule. We're always trying to change content and experience new stuff, and sometimes playthroughs go very long, and I could definitely spend a lot more time in Loop Hero. One of the things that's nice about Loop Hero is it's not really super story rich or anything, right? So there's a story behind it, but at the same time, it's something easy to pick up and put down. And sometimes I need a little bit of content, like we've got Slay the Spire that we've kind of put up on a shelf as a title that we can pull out real quick. Loop Hero is another one of those. I like having a little bit of that in my back pocket, as it were, to just, if we need to fill some time, we can play some stuff like that. So that's kind of what Loop Hero has become for us right now. We will play more of it. Right now we just have getting into finishing the Valheim playthrough up this week. Then we're going to be doing Planescape Torment the week after that. And then we're doing Witcher 3 for however long Witcher 3 takes us, starting the last week of this month. Yeah, so there's just, we had a bit of scheduling stuff we needed to work on and get to. And I wanted to give enough time to Valheim, you know. Well, yeah, Ace, if I played a lot of Vampire Survivors. Yeah, and there's been, we only played it like a month and a half ago, I think. And that was a lot of fun, but they've done a couple of nice updates to the game since I played it last. So, yeah, that's another one that we have that we can absolutely go back. I've still got it installed and everything. Yeah, that's a great game. And a lot of people in the community play it as well. So we'll go back and try out some of the new content stuff there too. We've kind of got all this stuff we need to finish up. That we've got the Valheim stuff that we got to finish up now. Then get on to Planescape. Then do Witcher. We've just kind of had some of this stuff on the schedule that is coming up for us that we need to get to. Yeah, yeah. Monster Train's supposed to be good. I haven't played that one yet. It's on my wish list though. Yeah, things like that. Yeah, yeah. I don't know, dude. I don't know, gamer. I don't know how to answer that because again, I feel the same way as you. It's kind of like one of the clips I made last night was when we were addressing like ASMR stuff in the stream, and I think that was during the Loop Hero stuff. And I was like kind of joking around about it and everything, you know, because I don't understand ASMR either, you know. But that's some people's yum, dude. I don't know. I don't know. Some people really enjoy that and they dig like ASMR stuff. And same thing, sleeping streams. Some people like to watch other people sleep, which for me just seems real creepy. But I don't know, man. To each their own, I guess. You know, Yeah, I'm not trying to judge other people or whatever. It just, for me, it seems creepy, man. Yeah, absolutely, Asif. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah. I've actually got a lot of card games put on the list right now that we didn't get to. We did like Inscription, Slay the Spire, and Hand of Fate 2, and Loop Hero. We played a lot of card games there in a row that I'd been wanting to play for a long time, and I've still got quite a few more that I want to get to. There's actually a really cool card game that came up yesterday in the showcases. It's like an FPS card game. You guys see this? Check it out. It's on my wish list. I know it. I've been wish listing a lot of games from the showcases we've been watching this week. And Neon White. This is it. Check this out. It's like an FPS mixed with a card game.
Why do they need assassins in heaven? To do someone's dirty work.
So I just put this on my wish list because this just came up in the showcases we've been watching. Pretty wild. So we'll probably take, I mean, as far as the rest of the year goes, I don't know how many more card games we'll be getting into, but I like taking like a month here and there to just like try out card games.
You won't last long if you can't rely on yourself.
I don't know if we'll be able to do another one before like the start of
God's judgment has nothing to do with it.
There are a lot of great card games out there. I think that should have maybe been a Kappa in there as well, dude. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about that a lot here recently. I don't know that E3 is going to survive, man. I really don't. I really don't. Well, I mean, just in case anybody's hanging out that's not aware, E3 is not a thing right now. So, if you weren't aware, now you know. E3 is kind of dying, it feels like. They've already come out and been like, we're for sure having E3 next year, right? But I think a lot of these other, you know, especially for the gaming stuff, the developers and everything, they've found that they don't necessarily need E3. They don't necessarily need to be part of E3 anymore, and they can kind of do this stuff on their own. And I don't know, man. E3 is well, again, they didn't even do an online E3, dude. This is not E3 this year. E3 is completely canceled. Well, yeah, but there's so Asif, to be very specific here, it is not E3 this year. They didn't do E3 last year either. As far as I remember, this year it was complete. Did they do an online E3 last year? I think they might have. This year is not E3. So we need to be very specific here in regards to understanding the fact that E3 is a legitimate production that is usually set up, right, to showcase both upcoming gaming stuff, right? It's traditionally been like the main showcase every year to show off gaming things, new games, upcoming games, things we haven't seen about, games we knew were coming out, technology, what have you, correct? E3 is not a thing this year. Not in person, not online, nothing. It got completely canceled. Okay? And it has been canceled over the past few years to an extent. So E3 is not a thing this year. Everything that we're seeing as far as showcases go and everything has nothing to do with E3. The only relation is that a lot of these businesses and corporations and communities and stuff came together and said, you know, E3's not happening. We're going to do our own showcases. So basically, we've been watching showcases since Tuesday of this week, and it's still happening through this weekend. So we've got like 3 showcases to watch this morning or today. We've got more showcases to watch tomorrow. And I mean, I'm just trying to get across to people that what E3 used to be and what it's known to be It is completely canceled this year. None of the showcases and everything have anything to do with E3. Other than the fact that they're now doing their own showcases because E3 has continually been canceled to an extent, and this year completely. So, well, I mean, and that's one of the things that I feel like is important because, you know, I love the industry. I love doing the news, staying up to date with things that are being released and being announced and everything. It's important for me, and it's important for a lot of people in this community, which is why the past, like, half week and all the way through, like, the beginning of next week, there's not going to be a whole lot of gameplay happening because there's so much coming out for the news because of all the showcases, as well as us watching the showcases to see kind of a lot of that stuff live, right? Let me get into this article, guys. Jacksonville mom didn't know his son's Xbox could connect to social media after he threatened daycare shooting. A Jacksonville teenager was arrested Friday after police said he threatened to shoot up a daycare center in San Marco. Investigators said he posted the threat on a gaming chat room using his Xbox. After police spoke to the teenager's mother about what her son did, she told police she had no idea her son could use his gaming system to communicate on social media. To many parents, an Xbox is just a gaming system, but in reality, the Xbox is a computer much like a desktop hard drive. What is this statement? To many parents, an Xbox is just a gaming system. But in reality, the Xbox is a computer much like a desktop hard drive? That's a weird analogy for what an Xbox is. I don't know, dude. An Xbox is a gaming system that can be linked to the internet to download games and movies and even connect to social media. This was evident when Jacksonville police showed up in an apartment inside this North Side complex and arrested a 15-year-old boy. That's when the boy's mother told police she had no idea her son's gaming console could connect to social media. News4Jax spoke with cybersecurity expert Chris Hammer, who said this should be a wake-up call for all parents who are not computer savvy. Parents need to be aware that these consoles are fully fledged computers with the capacity of surfing the internet and communicating in both directions. Hammer said, that issue is if you leave your child alone with an Xbox or PlayStation, not only can they present a credible threat to the outside world, but they can also be groomed by people who deliberately go into the chat room, game rooms, and the lobbies for these different programs to find their next victim, which are almost always young, moldable, impressionable individuals, right? Youth. So in addition to monitoring your child's activity on the home computer or smartphones, parents are being urged to monitor their kids' activities on gaming consoles. Hammer said while parents may not be too computer savvy, kids who are caught posing threats online are also not as computer savvy as they may think. Yeah. The individuals that are making less than intelligent decisions as to their activities online may or may not be aware that their IP addresses can be tracked right to their provider and thus to their house. One tip parents should know is that it doesn't matter if you're using a home computer, a cell phone, a gaming system to post threats on social media. As long as you're connected to the internet, that threat can be traced. Yeah, look, I wanted to bring this article up real quick because it brings together two different some things we address a lot in this channel, right? One of the main ones being guardians of younger individuals that are using technology, whether it be a mobile device, a console, a PC, what have you. It is their responsibility to maintain oversight of the content that they're being exposed to and what they are doing on these devices, right? And quite often, guardians don't do that. Parents, guardians, what have you, they just go, I'm busy, I've got other stuff I need to get done. Here is a device, right? When ultimately, nobody's going to be able to maintain like 24, like just sitting there watching everything their kids do, right? Or their youth do that they're responsible for. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is their responsibility to make sure that these youth are not engaged in anything such as this. They're not being groomed. They're not in these online communities that are allowing them to be groomed by malicious people, evil, kind of nasty people. You know, it's something that there has to be more of a concerted effort at guardians and parents understanding what their children, their youth are being exposed to and managing that, keeping them away from the potential to be groomed into these very what's the word I'm looking for right now? Extremist kind of organizations and things like that, you know? So we talk about it a lot. This is just a perfect example of it, you know? I think showcase is indeed the right term. Yeah. And this is it. I mean, traditionally it's been known as like the time for E3, right? But it's very important, I think, for people to understand that E3 has been known as like this all-encompassing like time of the year where showcases happen and things like that. But it's a legitimate, always been a E3 is an organization. It's a dedicated production for gaming and technology and stuff like that. And it's just important for people to understand that E3 is not, it's actually been canceled. So it's just been a lot of these organizations that are usually part of the E3 all-encompassing showcase that have kind of taken it upon themselves to branch off and do their own showcases. They quite often it's collaborations and stuff, but there's just a lot of different individual showcases as opposed to a big long E3 production now. The Last of Us fans debate PS5 remake, PS5's remakes graphics. We saw this yesterday, right, in one of the showcases. And news of a video game remake is always the bellwether to a hurricane of discourse. Has it really been that long? Does this game really deserve a remake? This week, the eye of the storm is The Last of Us, as fans debate whether or not the visuals in the just unveiled remake look measurably better than those of the original. I felt like this one looked pretty good. It looks more realistic. But then some of the other side-by-sides I saw, I was like, I'm not seeing a significant difference, you know. I do think that this looks much more realistic than and detailed. You know, the gash and the dirt and kind of the beat up look of the face, and the eyes look much more realistic. You know, hair looks better, clothes, everything. This right here side by side to me looks quite a bit better visually. If you're going for a realistic kind of look, right? But then some of the other side-by-sides, I was like, man, I don't really see too much. Announced last night during Jeff Keighley's Summer Kickoff Showcase, The Last of Us Part 1 is a total remake of The Last of Us, Naughty Dog's seminal apocalyptic action game for PS3. Sony inadvertently leaked the remake's existence a few hours before the show, taking some wind out of the sails of the official reveal. Naughty Dog is also developing a standalone multiplayer Last of Us spin-off. Part 1, which sports improved visuals and modernized gameplay, quote, is due September 2nd for PS5 and at a later date for PC. Mamzelle, what's up, my friend? How are you? Now, I mean, what do you guys think? Was it needed at this point? I don't know if it was needed. I think this looks fine. Obviously, this is more detailed and looks better in my opinion, but I don't know if it was necessarily needed, per se. When The Last of Us came out in 2013, it was widely considered the NE Plus Ultra of graphical fidelity for its era. The remastered version for PS4 released in 2014 looks even better. You could make a case that at least in the era of diminishing returns for graphical fidelity, The Last of Us Remastered is already a pretty modern-looking game. Yeah. Two sides of the debate around The Last of Us Part 1's visuals can be neatly summed up by one of two statements made in response to Naughty Dog's announcement of Part 1 on Twitter. Quote, "This doesn't look that much better than the remaster," one person wrote. "The difference is incredible," wrote another. Right now, Twitter is awash with side-by-side images comparing The Last of Us Part 1 to its predecessors. Some mashed screenshots of the remake against the 2013 original, where the muddier visuals are obviously more stark. Others use the remaster as a base point, which comes across as comparing a very pretty game with a very pretty game. Yeah, this was kind of like the other screenshot I saw that I was like, well, it looks a little bit better, but not like incredibly, you know? Whereas I saw much more in this than I did between these, you know? I don't know. Yeah, the reveal has sparked some questions about whether or not a remake of the relatively recent and relatively good-looking game is worth the allocation of Sony's resources. Naughty Dog, one of Sony's most prestigious first-party studios, could be working on anything else right now, whether that's another entry in its popular Uncharted series or an expansion for The Last of Us Part 2. Others have baselessly posited that a remake isn't a Naughty Dog passion project, but rather part of a Sony-directed marketing push for their forthcoming television adaptation. Yeah, probably. The series is currently in production at HBO, does not have a release date, though. Yeah, there's logic behind the idea that ahead of Sony's incoming premiere, Sony would want to drum up buzz for newcomers and freshen the memories of longtime fans. It is, however, purely speculative. Sony did not respond to a request for comment. Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, let me know. That was kind of my impression originally, was like, that's a pretty good difference, you know, but is it necessary? And then this one was like, I don't really see a whole lot of need here between these two differences. This still looks really good. I don't know. So there it is, though. Microsoft Edge's Clarity Booster will apparently make Xbox Cloud Gaming look better than it does on other browsers. I'm going to be honest. I don't see this mattering to too many people. That would mean it still ultimately means you need to go use Microsoft, their Edge browser, and I don't see that happening. I have always just tried to stay away from Microsoft's browsers. They've always been terrible, in my opinion. I don't like them. Everybody kind of has their preference, right? I'm a Firefox user. A lot of people like Chrome. I'm sure there's an amount of people in their 70s and 80s that use Microsoft Edge. I'm just playing. But I think consensus is most people tend to not use Microsoft's browser. This is, I think, ultimately a try from Microsoft to get more people to use their browser. People especially using the cloud gaming, their Microsoft's cloud gaming service. Looks like Microsoft isn't waiting for the Xbox and Bethesda showcase this week to drop some gaming news. Microsoft's Edge browser is getting some upgrades for its desktop app that also focus on Xbox cloud gaming. However, to be fair, I think it's safe to assume that Xbox Game Pass and cloud gaming will most likely come up a few times over the next couple of days. The built-in Clarity Boost will make, quote, gameplay from the cloud look sharper and clearer when playing in the Microsoft Edge browser on Windows, according to its blog post. What this means is that streaming games from the Xbox Cloud Gaming Library on Game Pass will look better on Edge than any other browser. Microsoft is also adding an efficiency mode to Edge that will automatically reduce resource usage, along with a new personalized gaming homepage with guides, live streams, and other gaming content for the games you follow. If you're a play games in a small browser window while my boss turns their back type of person, there's a new games menu that'll feature a bunch of free time killing games like Solitaire, Asteroids, and Microsoft Jewel. Ooh. The fact that Microsoft is working to improve performance for windowed games pretty much tells me I should be playing more video games at work. Oh, no. I'll be sure to see how games actually look with Clarity Booster when it comes to Edge and see how it compares to streaming on Chrome or Safari, which is how I was streaming Fortnite at work. If Clarity Booster improves the picture quality even slightly, I'll take it. That wasn't the only bit of Xbox Cloud gaming news Microsoft dropped this week. Later this month, some Samsung smart TVs will support Xbox Cloud streaming via the Xbox app, so you'll be able to play Xbox games like Halo Infinite without connecting a console nor PC to your TV. Yeah, we read about that a day or two ago, actually. If you're interested in this whole thing, maybe check out the news segment from a day or two ago, because we hit on that. Apple Cloud gaming ban ruled anti-competitive in the UK. The UK CMA, which stands for Competition and Markets Authority, which is the country's premier competition watchdog, has declared that Apple's ban on cloud gaming apps in its iOS App Store is anti-competitive. According to the CMA, the ban harms the sector and limits choice for gamers. Apple's terrible about this kind of thing. You know, there's what's also very funny. No. No, you're good, dude. You don't need to apologize. Loop Hero is really neat. It's a really neat game. And I mean, there's good reason why it kind of took the gaming community by storm, right? So no worries, man. Look, I've definitely been one of those people that I've had initial impressions of various types of entertainment and gone, I don't know if I care for that. And then I've gone back and tried it again and gone, you know what? That is pretty good stuff. It's good on you to give it a shot, man, to give it another shot and see if you might have another impression about it. So good on you, man. Yeah. Being open, man. Being open. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Awesome, gamer. I'm glad, dude. Again, what's funny about Apple is they really try to not allow certain things on their platform and to not allow their stuff on other platforms like Apple TV Plus. Apple has a streaming service, right? Called Apple TV Plus. You cannot get an app for their streaming service on Android. You have to watch their streaming service through a browser because Apple's just so weird about this kind of stuff. I get competition to an extent and stuff, but dude, you have a streaming service, which their platform is terrible, by the way. It really needs to be revamped, but they have a streaming service and you can't get an app for it on Android because they're so weird about that kind of stuff. You know, we want people to buy into our streaming service for movies and TV and stuff, but we're not going to allow you to access an app for it if you use anything other than an Apple device. What? That doesn't make any sense. With Xbox hard at work developing a new cloud gaming stick and services like GeForce Now serving up major releases via cloud streaming, all eyes are on various tech giants' approach to cloud gaming right now. Apple's approach has been, in short, to ban it entirely from the App Store, with the Cupertino Titan imposing draconic restrictions on the way in which cloud gaming apps can operate on the store. Now, however, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority has declared this behavior to be anti-competitive in a new report stating that it is preventing the mobile cloud gaming sector from growing. Nice. Apple places heavy restrictions on services like Xbox Game Pass's cloud streaming feature via its App Store. You know what's really funny about this too? I'll take a drink here real quick. Apple likes to promote themselves as making money off gaming, specifically in the tech sector, wholly by what money they make off of other developers' games being in their app store and the money that they make off of those titles. So they want to say, we made $15 billion last year in gaming, when really all they did was make money off of other people's games because those games are on the Apple App Store, which I think is ridiculous and shouldn't be a thing. They make money in an app store part of the tech sector, not in gaming. Yet they don't want other people being able to have their apps, like streaming service apps, on their marketplace. You know, the report says that Apple and Google have an effective duopoly, that's for sure, over the mobile space, which is a similar conclusion to the one drawn by the South Korean government last year. This allows them to essentially dictate the terms of the market, and without any kind of intervention, both companies will maintain and even strengthen their grip over the sector. It's worth noting here, though, that it is entirely possible to download the Xbox Game Pass app via Google Play and stream games that way, whereas Apple does not allow it at all. Exactly. You can stream Xbox games via your browser on iOS devices, but you can't do so through any kind of official App Store app. In order to investigate the matter further, the CMA is proposing to make a market investigation reference, which would allow it to request information from relevant companies and develop legal solutions. Yeah, Apple's mobile ecosystem is drawing more and more criticism. Yep, we've read about this. This isn't the first time Apple has been accused of anti-competitive practices. Perhaps the most famous example of Apple drawing ire over its restrictive App Store policies is its ongoing battle with Epic, which began in 2020 after Fortnite attempted to bypass Apple's cut of in-game purchases. That battle is still raging today. Earlier this year, 35 U.S. states expressed their support of Epic after judges ruled that Apple's App Store didn't constitute a monopoly. It's worth stating here that Epic did also sue Google over Fortnite's removal from the Play Store. So it's not just Apple, with which Tim Sweeney's studio has beef. Tim Sweeney is the CEO of Epic, okay? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what comes of the UK CMA ruling regarding the App Store and cloud gaming. We'll keep tabs, man. This is stuff that keeps coming up in the news segment. We'll keep tabs. I talk about this a lot. I talked about it this morning when this article came up. Video games are getting too expensive, and it's killing gaming. Agreed. Whether it be how much they cost on release or how scummy, we talked about this recently. Gamer brought up a good point. We were talking about DLC. How scummy, quite often, DLC feels whenever like a game releases and then a month later there's $50 worth of DLC that comes out, you know? Now, there's good DLC and there's bad ways to incorporate DLC, and that's one of the bad ways, I feel, and they do it quite often. So, I'll preface this with, not only does it feel bad that now developers are trying to release games at like $70 a pop, but they also, incorporate these really scummy kinds of mechanics where it's like, oh, hey, you just paid $70 for our new game. Now go ahead and pay $50 for all the DLC that should have been part of the main game, but we wanted to hold it back and drop it 3 weeks later. As a way to try to suck more money out of you. You know what I mean? A reader is dismayed at the cost of The Last of Us Part 1 and Diablo Immortal and worries that what it means for the future of gaming. My dad, and probably yours too, is a common sentiment, always used to say that nothing in life is free. That was true in this day, and it's doubly true in the internet age, when so many things pretend to be free but secretly rely on taking your personal information as payment, or your time as you watch ads, or become frustrated into spending real money to hurry things along. I don't know if Pinky's hanging out right now, but shout out to Pinky. The new ad blocker he had me try out seems to be doing a much better job. So shout out to our buddy Pinky. The obvious example of this phenomenon at the moment is Diablo Immortal, a game in which is by all accounts quite good in terms of gameplay, yeah, but which has been ruined by its microtransactions. According to reports, you can easily spend over 5,000 pounds on in-game items and not get anything worthwhile out of it. Yeah. I've seen a content creator, a clip of a content creator get to where they had spent over 10,000 US dollars and get nothing out of it. The whole game has been designed to bring the maximum amount of money out of the small percentage of players willing to pay thousands for in-game items, the so-called whales. Yep. The game's been downloaded over 10 million times, but if it follows the pattern of other free-to-play games, there's probably only a few thousand that are spending these massive amounts of money. You may think that means that it's not a problem, since it only affects a small percentage of players. But that's not the issue at all. The problem is that the whole game has been designed around tempting these whales. Blizzard doesn't care about 95% of its players, cares about the 5% that actually bring in the money. So you've got a game that's not designed as a game at all. It's not designed to entertain in the traditional sense. It's designed to tempt you into spending money on it. And that is same with the majority of other big-name mobile games. It's a terrible betrayal of everything video games are meant to be, but hey, at least we have console games as an alternative, eh? Well, if you're rich, you do. If you're not, then you can go eat cake, play free games. Play free-to-play games. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, there's a difference, between like every different country and the cost of stuff, and we've talked about that before too, and that's why I try to be very clear in, whenever I read out these prices and stuff, I'll go 70 US, 70 pounds, or how many euros, or Australian, or whatever the article gives. But yeah, obviously, I mean, the cost for things US in Canada is exponentially more than it is U.S. here in the U.S., right? Well, yeah, I mean, like, I think I just recently saw PS5 controllers finally went on sale for around, like, like 55 bucks or something like that, the DualSense controllers. And it was like... The thing that drives me crazy is whether you're buying. I have these break on me all the time. They're brand new. The bumper buttons break all the time. You guys have heard me talk about that. The DualSense controllers are apparently, they have terrible stick drift that happens right away, and button stick issues and things like that. I don't know if they've revamped, done any better quality control and changed some of the things for the production of the DualSense controllers since I looked at it. But yeah, I mean, it's incredibly expensive. Pretty wild, man. Yeah, and like PS4, you're talking PS4 controllers are still 70 bucks. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's wild. Yep, absolutely. One second, guys. Sorry. One moment. Okay. Um, Yeah, so you've got a game that's not designed as a game at all. It's not designed to entertain in the traditional sense. It's designed to tempt you into spending money on it. And that's the same with the majority of other big name mobile games. Terrible betrayal of everything video games are meant to be. At least we have console games as an alternative, huh? Well, if you're rich, you do. If not, and basically, one second. Sorry, guys. Yeah, well, that's a big thing for Canada, right? Is taxes. Taxes are huge. Yeah. Um, Taxes are huge, and a big part of that is um, socialized medicine. A lot of taxes go into what that costs. If I understand that correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's one of the reasons taxes are so incredibly high in Canada, right? Is because of the socialized medicine stuff, right? Is that correct? What else is what else? What are the other reasons in which taxes are so incredibly high up there? I know the socialized medicine is one of them. 15% on everything. Yeah, depends on the province. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I've known for a long time that basically everything in Canada is like, quite a bit more expensive than it is for us here, um, in the U.S. Um, It's a terrible betrayal of everything video games are meant to be, but hey, at least we have console games as an alternative. Yeah. Well, I think what they're getting at here is like consoles in and of themselves are expensive, right? But you can't even get your hands on them hardly. Yo, Mr. Little Bat, what's up? How are you, buddy? It's good to see you. Happy Saturday, man. Happy Saturday, everybody. If I haven't told you that yet, happy Saturday. The other absurdity this week is that the last gen versions of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 are 70 US and 70 pounds, and so too is the remake of The Last of Us, a remake of a game that still looks perfectly fine as PS4 game in which it has no new content of any kind. There's no upgrade option if you have the original. There's no equivalent of Game Pass if you want to play it as a subscription. It's 70 pounds or nothing. These two extremes of free games that aren't games and console games that are prohibitively expensive are going to kill the entire concept of video games if they become the norm. Mobile games, at least the big name ones, gave up pretending long ago, but for some reason Sony seems hell-bent on making console gaming seem as bad as an idea as possible, certainly bad value for money. They're even supporting an alternative now by releasing games on PC. Why would anyone with a decent gaming PC buy a PS5 game, given they're always more expensive? Sony is creating a problem that doesn't need to exist, almost as if they want to prove that consoles are a bad concept. I assume that's not what they're trying to do, but it's how it comes across. Big business isn't interested in games as an art form or even as a form of entertainment, and that's not something new, but things are getting so bad so quickly, I really fear for the future of the whole industry. Console games shouldn't cost 70 pounds, and free-to-play games shouldn't be designed purely to fleece a tiny percentage of players with more money than sense. Yeah, the problem is that both these things work. They're profitable and means they're going to continue, and the only way we can stop them is to somehow convince people to not download free-to-play games or buy The Last of Us Part 1. So basically, there is no way to stop them, which in turn means it's only going to get worse and worse. I mean, we've talked about this. The only way to get things to change is to really collaborate as a community of people and say, we're not buying that crap, you know? I mean, we've talked about it quite often, and there have been free-to-play games that have done very, very well and incorporated a microtransaction or a cash shop that is done in a decent way in order for a good developed free-to-play game to sustain itself and be profitable, you know? And then there's very, very bad ways for it to be done, right? Diablo Immortal, the most recent show of a terrible, terrible way to incorporate monetization in a free-to-play, quote-unquote, free-to-play game, right? And at the same time, like I said, I mean, ever since news started coming out about games costing $70 now, I've been so against it. And I say the same thing every time. It's, you know, this is the world I love. I love video games. This is the world that you all love too, right? And I want as many people to have access to the world that I am so passionate about and that I love so much. I don't expect all games to be free or anything like that. But there is an absurdity that is coming along with how much it costs to play games, to buy games, and to play games. And what that does is it removes the accessibility of so many people in being able to enjoy video games. And that sucks, man. That sucks so bad. So, unfortunately, yeah, I mean, there's a small percentage of people in the world that have a lot of money, and there's no barrier for them. And so they kind of exacerbate this issue that is coming along with how much it costs to play and buy games nowadays. But for the rest of us, we kind of have to, if we want anything to change, we've got to get on a united front of saying, we're not paying that, you know? And many of us can't. And we've got to figure out a way to get it changed, man. It's just so terrible. And another thing that this leads to is, you know, there's always the talk of piracy is wrong, and there are always organizations out there trying to bust these piracy sites and keep them from doing what they do. But this issue with how much games cost, and I'm speaking only about games as a form of entertainment, but how much games are costing. And it's not like these businesses are hurting. They are making a ton of money. So there's no real need for them to increase the price tag other than being greedy. The more this happens, especially for games that cost up front, right? Not free to play games, but games that cost up front, the more it's going to create a problem, quote unquote problem, for what piracy is becoming within the gaming industry. Because people are going to go, no, I'm not paying that. People already say, no, I'm not paying that. I want to try the game first because I've been duped too many times by devs saying they're going to promising me that they're delivering all these things in the title. Then I buy it and it's a trash can, you know? So this is only going to make that issue even worse for these companies that are going, piracy's wrong, and how much of what they do is wrong, you know? And look, I'm not somebody that even partakes in piracy. I don't do it, man. I pay for all my titles. You know, that's just the way I do things. But there's no doubt about it that it's going to exacerbate the issue of piracy within the gaming community. No doubt. Devolver Digital is bringing 3 titles to Netflix games. Again, Netflix has been kind of doing week-long like reveals of things that is happening for them. We know that they're pivoting very hard into gaming. We're not keeping up with what Netflix does. We're not watching their showcase stuff every single day, but we'll get a comprehensive like summary towards the beginning of next week and take a look at everything they announced, okay? But the Devolver showcase was sick. I loved it. Saw a lot of cool games from it as well. And their production is always pretty solid, Devolver's is. But it looks like Devolver is bringing 3 of their titles to Netflix games. Point P from the creator of Downwell is now available. Been announced during Netflix Geek Week that Devolver Digital is bringing 3 titles to Netflix games, including a new title from the creator of Downwell. The well-known publisher is bringing a number of titles to the Netflix subscription service soon, and one is available right now. A version of Reigns 3 Kingdoms, the game that essentially Tinder meets medieval monarch control, is coming to the service. What? Terra Nil, a reverse city builder about ecosystem reconstruction with a global warning message, will also be making its way onto Netflix soon. The demo for Terra Nil can be played on Steam, with its full release date to be announced sometime in the future. Perhaps the biggest reveal, though, the developer of Downwell has created Point P, a vertical climber that's available on the service right now. All players need to do is boot up their Netflix app and search Point P. Now, understand, to play Netflix games, you have to have a Netflix subscription. As far as I understand, that has not changed at all. In order to play any game on Netflix, you have to have a subscription to Netflix. Cyberpunk anime series coming to... What was it called, gamer? Do you know what it was called? Players can also find Point P on the App Store right here. Keep going, quote, keep going higher and higher because new and more challenging areas await. Earn and unlock abilities that will help you jump into your next run with a better shot at reaching the end, reads the game's description. Point P is also more than just a vertical jumping game, as players will need to evade creatures as they ascend and collect items to help them get as high as possible at the same time. Dedicated players are also challenged to find a not so well hidden area to unlock the tricky puzzle mode. Complete Point P to unlock an endless mode. The Netflix Geek Week show also revealed that by the end of this year, there's going to be over 50 titles on the subscription service. We already knew that. They had announced that months ago. Further marking Netflix's movement into the mobile gaming space. Okay. We'll keep track about what is being announced from Netflix, but some Devolver games there. Devolver is a pretty solid publisher, man. I like Devolver a lot. Yo, for everybody that's hanging out, you probably see it in the title. We are playing... Hold on. 1 second. Where's it at? One second, guys. There it is. Okay. Boop. We're playing Roller Champions today outside of any showcase stuff happening, okay? It's a free-to-play cross-play game, rolling around on roller skates and stuff, trying to score goals and hoops and knock other people over and everything. I have no idea what this is going to be like. It's a free-to-play game. It looks pretty wild. Like, it could be a little bit of fun, so I figured we would try it out, okay? It is a free-to-play game. It is multi-platform. It is cross-platform. It just seemed like something cool for us to potentially try out today. So if you're interested, go ahead and this is on Ubisoft. This is an Ubisoft game, Ubisoft Connect. Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Oh, really? Okay. We'll have to look into it, gamer. Thanks, buddy. Nice. So if you're interested in trying this out together or whatever, or along with, go ahead and try to grab it, download it, get ready, and we'll start it up after the news section, okay? Lucky Luna is a new original Netflix games platformer with no jump button. What? Title is based on the Japanese tale of the bamboo cutter. Lucky Luna is a new and original title coming to Netflix games, and it's based off of Japanese folklore. Announced during the Netflix Geek Week Games event today, this was yesterday, June 10th, the Lucky Luna trailer can be watched below. Inspired by Japanese folklore, players will be tasked with guiding Luna through hidden dungeons and mythical temples to unlock the secrets of the past, in a title that takes inspiration from plenty of old-school platformers. The game is a 2D vertical platformer without jumping, meaning players will need to swipe on the screen to help move Luna as she falls deeper and deeper through ancient temples. Excuse me. There will be a story mode, special challenge runs, special challenge runes? I think this might need to be runs. And endless mode with leaderboards, an expansive world, and players will need to collect pearls and watch out for traps as they descend as well, according to Netflix Geek Week. Story focuses on a princess from the moon discovered inside the stalk of a bamboo plant when she was a baby. Just a baby. Exactly how Lucky Luna will fit into the folklore story remains to be seen, as all we've gotten of the game so far is the trailer from today. Yeah, okay. Want to watch it real quick? So that's Lucky Luna. If you have Netflix, you can try that out on the app. Yeah. Let's all exploit the exploitative games. If they're going to make free-to-play games, maybe we take advantage of the free bit. There is and should be a huge amount of discussion and debate regarding the exploitative nature of so many practices in modern video games. From gacha and loot boxes to in-app purchases. Wait, what? Oh, I didn't see a face. Yeah, for me, all it shows is Cyberpunk space : space Edge Runners, buddy. Did you have an emote come up? Even on the stream, it didn't have an emote come up, dude. Might just be in your chat for some reason. My OBS chat only shows it as a colon. The on-screen chat that we have up for the stream only shows it as a colon. Not sure, buddy. Yeah. Huh. Odd. From gacha and loot boxes to in-app purchases and meaningless cosmetics, right up to the recent idiocy. I'm so bad. Regarding NFTs, both game players and the gaming press need to be holding to account the publishers who will stoop to any low to milk an extra few bucks. But while they're at it, we might as well take advantage while we can, and perhaps stop so ferociously attacking anyone who does. I started playing Diablo Immortal with no expectation of getting anything positive out of it. Activision Blizzard isn't exactly a company in which one should have high hopes. Agreed. And I assumed this was going to be simply some sort of ghastly cash in on the license. Immediately haranguing me for my money in order to take part in its gaming loops. It turned out that instead it offered a whole bunch of genuinely fun entertainment without requiring any payment for a significant number of hours, leading Zach and I to have a chat about how much this had surprised us. I assumed it was going to be a decently produced game, some decent content, and have had that confirmed from people that the game is actually a lot of fun. But again, the way these types of games incorporate this mechanic is It's free to play, right? And especially a game like we've found Diablo Immortal to be is this is the gimmick that's always put into it, right? A game that's free to play that ends up being pay to win, that's exactly what it is. It ends up being that way, right? So the first half of the game, you get to experience the gameplay, and the developer wants you to feel like they're kind of hooking you in, right? Like you've spent an amount of time in the game, you want to keep progressing, right? It's been fun to this point, but in order to progress, we need you to spend some money, right? And quite often, it's actually a lot of money. So they kind of hook you in. It's like, hey, this is fun, and there are a good amount of people that can go, okay, well, that was fun, and I'm not going to pay to keep playing. And then there are going to be another amount of people that fall for the gimmick and go, man, I've already spent this much time in the game. I don't want to just have all that be wasted, and I want to keep progressing, so I'll just pay this much. I'll just pay a little bit more. And then it just keeps going. You know what I mean? So just because a game is free to play, but in a very scummy way that incorporates pay to win, pay to play kind of mechanics, doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't have good gameplay. Quite often they do. Quite often they're very well developed titles, and they're developed to want you to keep playing them. Yeah. We've talked about this a lot already today. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Ultimately, this is what they're trying to get at. At a certain point, it'll push its luck and ask for cash, and you can say, thanks, bye. Right? Yo, Miss Bat, what's up? Miss Bat, we got Mr. Lil Bat and Miss Bat. We got Gamer, man. What's up, everybody? Tim Wynn hanging out. Wick been up in here. The crew, baby, the crew. Asif's been hanging out. Again, look, that's the thing that I was just getting at. You know, and what they're trying to say. I'll throw this in chat so you guys can read all of it if you want. Ultimately, what the issue is here is exactly what I just stated, right? They're trying to make it sound like it's very, very easy for everybody. Yeah, Bat Clan in the house, dude. Yeah. Did you guys get all the car stuff figured out? And how's your back feeling, Mr. Little Bat? They make it sound really easy for everybody to just go, oh, okay, well, I'm at the pay to win or pay to play kind of mechanic in the game. I can just stop. It's not that easy for everybody. No, you didn't? Crap, man. I'm sorry, guys. But, I mean, if you want to read the article, it's right there. We've talked about it a lot this morning. And especially since Diablo Immortal hit, we've talked a lot about this. And it's scummy, man. It's scammy. It feels bad. Ultimately, this kind of stuff, in my opinion, if I had it my way, this would not be in the gaming world at all. You know, you have a temp fix? Well, that's good. Sorry you haven't got it all figured out, though. Lot better. Good. Good. Right on. That's good, man. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you guys have some kind of temp fix for the car stuff figured out, but hopefully you get it all sorted permanently very soon. Car issues suck, man. Here's what gaming on Centaur's forgotten x86 CPU looks like. Yes, it can run Crysis. Centaur may have disappeared for good, but remnants of the company's products remain if you look hard enough. Computer enthusiast Albert Thomas, aka Bizood, got his hands on Centaur's CH8 chip and put it through its paces in various modern AAA titles. The CH8 processor has a die size of 194 millimeter squared and features 8 CNS x86 cores without simultaneous multi-threading. Depending on the bin, the clock speed varies between 2.2 gigahertz and 2.5 gigahertz. The 16 nanometer chip, this is a 16 nanometer chip. What are we at nowadays in modern chips? Like right between somewhere around like 6 to 8, even maybe 10, but I think roughly 6 to 8 nanometers. So like half this size. Yeah. Has 16 megs of L3 cache supporting AVX 512 instructions and quad channel DDR4 memory. Even has an onboard AI coprocessor, which Centaur had baptized as the N-Core. The company had envisioned the CHA processor for the server market, which is why the chip has the N-Core accelerator with machine learning capabilities. Introduced in 2019. Well, that would make a difference too. The chip being this large, that's still very small, but being 16 nanometers, being a server chip, makes a bit of a difference. Usually, server chips are a tad bigger than what we would get in like a personal PC or desktop. Introduced 2019, Centaur claimed that its CNS cores offered a similar level of performance to Intel's Haswell's processors. Thomas overclocked the CHA sample to 2.5 gigs, obtained Cinebench R23 single and multi-threaded scores of 552 and over 4,100 points, respectively. Based on the data from antics database, the CHA chip's single-threaded performance is closest to a dual-core Pentium G3220T, whereas the multi-threaded performance is in the same ballpark as the quad-core Xeon E3-1231. Ultimately, the CHA processor had no problems keeping frame rates above 60 in Doom 2016. The enthusiast didn't specify the image quality preset, but even at 1440p, the frame rates were varied between 80 frames to 187 frames, depending on the scene's complexity. Yo, random mode time, guys. Let's go. Get yourself... What is this? Fire speed. Looking for that fire speed emote. Let's go. Oh, dude, I got Ryu chant. Let's go. Crisis, a title that once represented the epitome of PC gaming, couldn't phase the Centaur CHA part either. Although we're unsure of the resolution or quality setting, the octa-core chip pumped out frame rates ranging from 35 to 101 frames per second. You can argue that the GeForce RTX 3060 Ti did much of the heavy lifting. Despite the low clock speeds, the Centaur CHA processor kept up with one of the best graphics cards on the market without difficulty. Okay, that's just a fun little, like, testing out an old chip thing. Nice. Nice. Let's go, guys. Get that rando mode in. Nice, Mr. Little Bat. Sony PlayStation's new God of War video game planned for November. Cool. Go away. I don't want it. I don't want the offer. It's not going to show me this. Reached my free article limit. Okay, dude. We'll find out more about this. Apparently, God of War Ragnarok, which is what the new the new God of War game is called, God of War Ragnarok. Tabo, what's up, man? Hey, buddy, how you been? Yo, a random mode game just happened, so exclamation point random mode, guys. Try to get that free sub. Even if you already are subbed, I will give you a free sub when your sub runs out if you win the random mode game. Okay, so play it, play it. Here's the plan. God of War Ragnarok is obviously coming out in November. We've got Scaretober in October, right? So we'll be doing Scaretober. I don't know the exact date for God of War Ragnarok yet. But if it drops on PC initially, we'll play it as soon as it comes out. If it doesn't, we'll have to wait till it hits PC. If it does come out on PC... release on PC at the same time as dropping on PlayStation in November, then we will finish Scaretober. We'll play a little bit of our previous God of War playthrough because we have some Valkyries and stuff we still need to kill. We'll get back in God of War mode, and then we'll run into God of War Ragnarok, okay? What's up, Tabo? Nice. Got that Pot Friend. I haven't seen Pot Friend in a while. Nice emote. Everything announced at the Summer of Gaming Showcase. We've already seen all this, really. Yep. Aliens Fireteam Elite, new DLC. Starkeepers. Did we see Starkeepers? A new MMORPG coming to Steam Early Access in 2023. A sci-fi game at heart, Starkeeper's central race is a group of anthropomorphic Viking animal people, including wolves and seals. These unusual heroes are the titular Starkeepers, God-chosen warriors sent to ward off the eldritch cosmic threats. There you go. Nice, Tabo. Yeah, man. I'm getting excited for our playthrough. I'm going to keep this article up. Okay? I'm going to keep this article up. News is already going kind of long, but I'm going to keep this article up. And why did I keep these up? I don't know. I'm gonna keep this article up. What we'll do is if we have like small breaks in between some of the showcases and stuff today, we'll take a look at some of these trailers. Okay. I don't know that we've seen all of these at this point. We've definitely seen this. We've seen this. Seen this. Seen this. Some of these I can't remember specifically though. So we'll come back through and take a look at some of these trailers and stuff in between some of the showcases today, okay? Tabo, it's really good to see you, buddy. Yeah, so look, tomorrow is the actual Xbox, or no, tomorrow is the Microsoft Bethesda showcase, right? Or is it Xbox Bethesda? I thought it was Microsoft Bethesda. Yeah, Microsoft Bethesda is tomorrow. So we'll be watching that live. Then on Tuesday, there's actually an Xbox extended showcase that we're going to watch as well, okay? We've already talked a bit about what we could expect to see, what we want to see, things like that. But if you need a little bit, yeah, one of the big things is Avowed, right? Where so many Pillars fans in the community, and we've done very long playthroughs of both Pillars 1 and Pillars 2. Avowed is a first-person kind of Skyrim-esque kind of game being created by Obsidian, and it's going to be set in the world of Aora, which is the world of Pillars of Eternity, right? So we've been wanting to see more for Avowed for a very long time. There's been a cinematic trailer out there for a long time. A little bit of gameplay mixed in there. But apparently the big thought is that there's going to be some good, nice, new Avowed gameplay to see. So that's one of the things we're all looking forward to. We've seen an amount of this already of what to like expect from the big showcase happening tomorrow for Microsoft and Bethesda. But if you're interested in taking a closer look, there it is. I'm not going to dive into this. We've already talked a lot about this over the previous like week and everything. So it's just going to be kind of rehashing all that out. But there it is in chat if you want to take a look, okay? Hellblade 2, let's go. Look, guys, last article, unless anybody has anything else they want to bring up and add to the news segment, okay? This will be the last article. Again, we are going to go play some Roller Champions. It is a free-to-play, cross-platform game. You can get it on Ubisoft Connect. I've never played it. We're just going to take a shot here at this game, see if it's any fun. Free to play, looked like it could be something fun for the community. So while I finish up this last news article, if you're interested in playing the game together, again, it's like teams of 3 people, I think, where you get in here, you're on like roller skates or roller blades, and you're trying to score goals with a ball while knocking other people over and stuff like that. It looks like it could be fun and funny, you know, so we'll take a shot at it. If you're interested in playing, then go ahead and start downloading the game or whatever so you can get in here and play along with us, okay? Oh, nice, dude. Tabo, that's great, man. Higher quality. Yo, I really like the pictures you put in Discord of you and your kitty, man. Yeah, very cute. Very cute. I'm going to finish up this last one. Hellblade 2, man. Bring it. This is another game we've been really looking forward to. We've been following. I have not played Hellblade 1, but I own it. And the plan for us is to, once we know exactly when Hellblade 2 is going to release, we will play Hellblade 1 right before Hellblade 2 drops. That way we can play Hellblade 1, get the entire story and experience of that playthrough, and run straight into playing Hellblade 2, okay? Everything we know so far, Hellblade 2 is one of the first Xbox Series X exclusives to be developed in Unreal Engine 5. It looks amazing. Hellblade 2 is in development at Ninja Theory. The sequel to Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, yep. Announced at the Game Awards back in 2019, Hellblade 2 remains a tantalizing prospect, both for the fans of the original Hellblade and for players eager to get a sense of how Unreal Engine 5 will deliver on Xbox Series X. If you have not seen the trailer for Hellblade 2, it is mind-blowing. Like, it looks like a cinematic trailer, and it's gameplay. It looks wild. Following the successful release of Hellblade, and the acquisition of developer Ninja Theory by Microsoft in 2018, our anticipation for Hellblade 2 is at an all-time high. Updates from the developer throughout production and the Hellblade 2 gameplay teases we've seen so far paint a picture of a hugely expanded adventure with care and attention paid to all areas. So join us as we explore everything we know so far about Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. The release date. No confirmation yet, but there is the possibility that we will get confirmation of an actual release date coming up within the next few days because of the showcases from Microsoft and Xbox, okay? We might be waiting a little while for Ninja Theory to give us Hellblade 2 release date. Back in June of last year, Studio gave us a development update for Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, where it explained the game had yet to enter full production. Still, a lot can change in a year, so here's hoping we'll be reunited with Senua soon enough. Platforms. Ninja Theory confirmed the game will launch on Xbox Series X, PC, and cloud gaming. Xbox Cloud Gaming, meaning there is potential for Xbox One owners to be able to play Hellblade 2 via the cloud gaming service. This also means that Hellblade 2 will be available on Xbox Game Pass on day one. The original Hellblade Hellblade 1 was originally released on PC and PS4 in 2017, with Xbox One and Switch versions arriving later down the line. It's reasonable to ask if it'll be on PS5, but it looks like no right now. Because Microsoft announced a series of 4 studio acquisitions, Ninja Theory being one of them. As a result, this means Hellblade 2 will be exclusive to Xbox Series X and PC. Yeah, they have not been shy about sharing occasional glimpses at the development process, which is awesome. We love that, right? The trailer, 6-minute trailer at the Game Awards last year, which was just mind-blowing. Footage shared is evocative and powerful, showing Senua leading a group attempting and, by all indications, failing to trap a giant. Equally breathtaking and horrifying, we see the plan to set fire and spear the heck out of the huge figure unravel as it crawls towards Senua, pounding and chewing her group as it goes. We have the return of some familiar elements from Hellblade, most notably the whispered voices swirling around the inside of Senua's head, along with the sound of battle and fire. The audio is intensively effective. Yeah. The gameplay. Hellblade, well, it looks gameplay-wise what you would experience in like God of War, right? Third person, very action-heavy. Do you know The Forest? I do know The Forest. I have not played The Forest. The sequel's coming out. The sequel's being developed. Yeah. We've looked at it, Tabo. Yeah. From what we have seen so far, Hellblade 2 gameplay is set to offer more of the same from the previous iteration of the game. While Ninja Theory was once known for creating fast-paced action games like Enslaved and Devil May Cry, Senua's Sacrifice was more subdued with a greater focus on considered storytelling and inner turmoil. Haven't revealed too much about the story yet. Unreal Engine 5, this game looks amazing. And Unreal Engine 5 has already showcased, there's been a lot of showcase about just what Unreal Engine 5 is capable of, and it's amazing. I'll let you guys read everything about that. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks to both. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I don't know. That might be another game where we try to play. I don't know. I don't have it on the schedule right now, but the second title to The Forest 2 is in development, and maybe I have not played Hood. I know it, but I haven't played it. Are you experienced in it, Mr. Wilbat? if we did decide to play the Forest 2 when it releases, we might go play Forest 1 first, Tabo. And if we do set that up, remind me and we can try to play it together. That's fine. So there we go. There we go, guys. Put that in chat. Take a better read. It's a fairly long article. I don't want to spend too much more time. We've got our first showcase coming up at what? 10? Let's take a look. We'll keep that up. Let me bring that down. There we go. More like the deforest. Yeah, there's a lot of like crafting and stuff in it, right? Is that what you mean? Having to chop down and build stuff. Yeah, is that what you mean? So I think Guerrilla Collective is first. This starts at 10, I think. Pause that. We already watched the Black Voices in Gaming. We finished it up yesterday, and we started it the day before. It was a good little showcase. The production value was a little bit rough. They had significant audio issues. They had video issues. It felt a little bit bad for the production value of it, but it was a good showcase nonetheless. A game that comes crucial. It's definitely team-based. Oh. Wait. Hard to get into playing by yourself. Oh, okay, yeah. I remember it being like kind of a team-based scenario. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Let's make sure we know when these are happening. So we've got Wholesome Direct, which is another indie showcase, which is great. We love our indie devs. This will be starting at 11:30, right? Yep, 11:30 for this one. Future Game Show. What time does Future Game Show start? That's Guerrilla Collective, right? No. Future Game Show at 2. So we'll end the stream today with Future Game Show. That'll be this one. And I think the Guerrilla Collective showcase starts in a little over an hour, if I remember correctly. Is that a game? Still fun, but hard when you don't use. Yeah, I mean, that's the way a lot of multiplayer games are, right? Like, if you're not using comms, it can make stuff a little bit. Because in a team-based game, quite often you need to coordinate actions and things like that, right? So, it's always a bit easier to work as a team whenever you can, like, real voice talk rather than, any kind of chat, like text chat, stuff like that, or no communication at all. Yeah. Make it meme. Is that a game? Meme template. Try making a meme, then you vote for the better memes. So it's kind of like a bit of some of the Jackbox games that you can play, right? Like it's on Google. Yeah. I've never seen it, but I know what you're talking about, roughly. Let's ensure we know when Guerrilla Collective is popping off here. Yeah, I know exactly what game you're talking about, Mr. Little Bad. I can see it in my head right now. I knew exactly whenever you brought it up what it was. I just haven't played it. $8 a.m. So, yeah, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, Guerrilla Collective. So we got a little over an hour. We'll get some gameplay in here with the Roller Champions. Try that out. Cool. I'll go ahead and end this news segment. That way we have a nice closing here for the VOD that'll be uploaded to YouTube later, okay? So Thanks to everybody who's always a part of what we do. Being a part of the news segment. I appreciate all the input and discussion that everybody brings to the table, and just love staying current on what's going on in the industry, gaming industry, with you guys. So on that note, if you did not get to check out this live and you're viewing it as a VOD later on YouTube, see what you can do about coming and hanging out with us at 6 o'clock a.m. CST every single day, where we do these news segments. Also, if you're enjoying the content, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and potentially leave me a comment below the video so we can have some discussion regarding some of these topics that we went over today in the news segment, okay? Other than that, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we will catch everybody tomorrow for June 12th segment of Video Gaming News, okay?